Join the Fuzz Buzz, where retired Lieutenant Jessica Taylor and retired Motors Officer Mike Gonzalez serve law enforcement's unfiltered reality. No PC, just raw, uncensored truth. 50 years in the trenches. Buckle up for a blunt, gritty ride behind the badge. No apologies here for shaking things up, demanding better policing, and real community action. It's raw, edgy, and a streetwise journey towards solutions. So strap in and let's rev this truth up.
So let's just talk about, like, you know, just on a personal level, what happened this morning, how I was posting on my own Facebook page, my own fucking Facebook page, about my political stance, my own page.
Right.
And in comes somebody who thinks that they can post, well, aren't you white with no kids?
Yeah.
And that is because she's saying that her daughter, who is dark-skinned, is getting stopped.
Dark-skinned, albeit, but still white. Yeah.
Who is getting stopped by ICE.
Supposedly harassed by ICE.
I don't buy it, but whatever. Maybe it's true. I doubt it, but whatever.
Because your post was basically, you got what you voted for, and you're happy with what going on.
What is happening right now is exactly what I voted for.
And that's what that's what she was responding to.
And then she had a case of the ass over that, and that's what she was responding to.
Yep.
So she fires at me that I'm white with no kids. And that's what she said. And I said, well, that's weird because I'm dating a Mexican. Mike's Mexican. And his last name is Gonzalez, which is more Mexican than you have in your little scenario there.
Definitely more dark-skinned than your dark-skinned daughter.
And we're not getting harassed by ICE. And when we have been pulled over by ICE, it's at the border, like where you would expect, right?
Right. I mean, I think
doing what ICE does.
We used to fly internationally quite a bit for vacations, and more times than not, I would get singled out because of my last name and the countries we're coming back from. And it's just like, you know, as long as they do it in an expedited manner and it gets us to our next spot, no big deal. But that one time they held us up for like 3 hours, kind of pissed me off.
Yeah.
But that's just part of the job. And
that's just the way it goes.
And we're
right?
both active law enforcement officers. So we're in the same.
Thee who has nothing to hide hides nothing.
Right.
So
we just,
why we have all these, I don't even know how to describe it. It's freaking crazy.
Well,
okay.
Virtual signaling
is
outrage is what it is.
Virtual signaling is just disgusting. And the fact that you have the ball sack to come onto my page.
Right. Yeah. And she used to run this community page that you could definitely tell it was definitely leaning left, liberal and all that stuff. And you kept it clean. It was her page. And that was a community page you didn't even attack.
Well, she co-ran it or whatever. But
still, they're both liberals.
I don't even have anything, like, I like you. Like, as a person, I really like you. We agreed that we would keep our politics separate. And I've donated to your kid's school or opera or whatever it is that he does. And I've made you things. So why in the fuck would you come onto my page and attack me? I have taken that very personally.
And then she I won't say what I was going to say, but then she blocked you.
Well, I don't know if she blocked me or just unfollowed or what. I don't know whatever happened, but it made my comment delete to the point where I had to retype my own comment on my own page.
But what my point is, she backed out of that conversation because she knew she met the bull. I mean, you weren't backing down and you were more in the right than she was. So she just why ate her ass out of there. See ya. Okay, moving on.
So rapid fire. So we talk a lot about NGOs. Most people don't understand the NGO situation and why it is so important to get it, because the NGOs have basically become like the hitmen for the government.
Right. They're the money suppliers to the lobbyists that get to the politicians.
Yeah. So what the government can't do legally, they use these NGOs to do. And here, this guy who is a venture capitalist, his name is Mark Anderson or something like that.
It's almost like Anderson, but with an extra S in there. Anderson.
An extra S and an extra E.
Yeah.
And so he just breaks it down. and it just is like,
Right. This is on the Joe Rogan show. He does a good job.
yeah. Okay. So here we go.
NGO is one of those great terms, like non-governmental organization. But then it's funded by the government. Well, that's not an NGO. That's a GO. And then what happens is the government outsources to these NGOs the things that it's not legally allowed to do, like violation of First Amendment rights. Right. And so if you want to censor American citizens, what you do is you fund an outside organization and then you have them do it.
That's like hiring a hitman. Like, it's not okay to murder someone, but you can hire someone to murder someone and then you're clean.
And if you want to solve it's not enough to find out who the hitman was. You have to find out who paid the hitman. And so a lot of this traces into the White House.
Yeah.
Right.
So basically, right?
That's how they circumvent the Constitution.
Yeah. So that's one thing I just wanted to hit on, because we talk a lot about NGOs. You need to understand what the role is of the NGO.
Right. You hear that a lot,
You
but
hear
you don't
that term.
understand how they work into the whole system. But yeah,
Right. So then we went on to, you cannot hate these enough. You cannot hate them enough. So let me present to you the astronauts that are stuck in space. Okay, now you can't see this very well, so let me read it to you. It says, holy shit, you cannot hate the media enough. NPR, which is a government radio station,
they get millions of dollars,
has fact-checked Trump's mission to save the stranded astronauts by claiming they're not stranded. Yet months ago, virtually every major media outlet, CNN, PBS, and all, literally called them stranded. But as soon as Trump says something, it has to be wrong.
And didn't Elon have to save them and not NASA?
I think they're still up there.
You can't hate the media enough because everybody else says it. PBS, CBS, NBC, ABC. But once Trump says it,
these people lose their fucking minds.
Right.
It's insane.
It's a lie.
It is insane. TDS is a real thing.
Right.
Oh my God, I can't. Okay, so moving on to Seattle Police Department, because that's what we know. And if there's anything that ever pops up in the news over there, we're on. So this pops up. Tell me what your thoughts are. It's coming out of the Seattle Times. So Keith Swank, former captain of the Seattle Police Department. Okay. Would have been fired for inflammatory social media comments if he had remained with the department, according to a disciplinary report released Friday. This month, Swank was sworn in as Pierce County Sheriff's Office sheriff.
Right.
What do you think about that?
Well, we have those policies in place for both, speaking to the media and on social media, because if you identify yourself as a police officer, then unfortunately you're speaking as a member of the Seattle Police Department. I don't know his exact verbatim, but they said he was attacking some kind of transgender issues and something else. But, hey, he survived it, and they want to try to do this after he left. It's like, that's just, again, virtue signaling. It's like,
yeah,
he left the department, and now, if he would have still been here,
yeah.
Okay.
I don't have a whole lot of love for Swank. I mean, there's definitely some, not with me, but there's definitely some history that I know about with him. However, what Rohr said, quote, SPD's core values and the values you publicly espouse clearly do not align. You dishonor the department and the profession, Rohr wrote. If you were still a department employee, I would have terminated your employment. He responds via text. SPD's mischaracterizations are completely false and 100% politically motivated. If SPD's top brass, mayor, and city council spent as much time fighting crime as they did on partisan politics, then Seattle would have fewer serious problems. I agree with that.
I do
100%.
I mean, they're too busy trying to fry their own people we're talking the mayor, the city council, the chief of police, the officer, inspector general, OPS, whatever. They're all just looking inward and not outward and trying to help retain. And, we both been on the losing end of the bullshit of it. So, I mean, we've never had anything sustained, but you had to play the game. It's like, really? That's the best you got?
Yeah.
So yeah, whatever.
Yeah. So local news going down, we go locally first. We have the vaccine coordinator. Have you heard about this?
No.
So we're in a hiring freeze in Seattle, and Seattle has decided, well, it's not bad enough. We still need a vaccine coordinator to make sure all your kids have all of these 800 freaking million vaccines. And we're going to pay you $6,876 a month to do it remotely.
Remotely.
Uh-huh.
Wow.
Yep.
Just to look at a spreadsheet and tattletale on parents who don't want to poison their kids.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So then if that wasn't enough, we go back to have you heard about this Joanna Bender? She's this Superior Court judge in King County. So here, you can't see very well, but it says King County Superior Court Judge Joanna Bender is facing criticism again for releasing dangerous suspect, this time one that is charged in a hit and run that killed a 60-year-old man in Renton, and the bail was a joke. They dropped it down to $10,000, which really means like $1,000, right? 10%.
Right. 10%. Yep.
Yep. And then Jonathan Cho also goes off about this same judge, about King County activist Judge Joanna Bender is at it again. She released 2 men convicted of horrific crimes, and now they're on the run. Is anybody surprised?
No.
No.
And she does that for a lot of juvenile, like violent offenders, hit and run, deaths, attempted
One was
murder.
a hit and run homicide suspect, and the other one was a rape suspect, I believe.
Yeah. I mean, violent criminals, and again, illegally here in the country, and she just on their own recognizance, no bail, nothing, just out to make more victims.
Right. So get to Katie Davis Court. Did you see this? That happened last night.
Is this the part of the protests or
down at Alki?
Oh yeah.
So Alki, now we're protesting. We've got these. Now we're gonna go down to take over Alki.
Fuck the police! Fuck the police! Fuck the police! Fuck the police! Fuck Donald Trump! Fuck Donald Trump! Fuck Donald Trump!
Right.
Thoughts?
Well, it's like, okay, so how is this making your case any stronger for the American people to want to let you stay, right?
Oh, right.
So that's my thoughts. And and the other thing is, like, how many American flags did you see there? So you're running for your war-torn third world piss poor country for a better life, but yet if you're to come here, you should become an American. If you become an American, you have to renounce your citizenship, and there's not one American flag.
Yeah, so nationally, this is also happening. So let's just run through the ones that are happening nationally as well, just because it has the same MO as the BLM riots.
Right.
Sorry, but it's true.
Right.
I don't know what to tell you.
Somebody is definitely coordinating.
It's definitely coordinated in the back. So we have James Woods saying, harassing American citizens on their way home from work by waving foreign flags and blocking traffic only solidifies our determination to deport en masse.
Right.
Okay, get it? Let's move down to this one. This is ICE protesters note how they're waving the flag of the country they don't want to return to.
One American flag in there either.
No.
But
have some more of these jokers.
Do you have any of the LA County on the interstate? This is all just kind of.
I have this one. Yeah.
There's one burning a flag, or the one where they're blocking an interstate in
I've got so many. There are so many.
I know, but those are the big ones that really should. lawlessness.
Yeah, but they're all across the country. And they've got the same MO as they're all deploying on the same day, doing the same thing, the same tactics, just as we've seen before.
And the bigger question is, if they're
just
fighting
changing
being
the race.
deported, why are you bringing a spotlight onto yourself to get deported? So, it's like that makes absolutely no sense unless there's money back in it.
Right.
Because usually people who are in fear of being deported hide from the cops, not go out and spit on them.
But also, just in funny news with national news, male Meta employees are pissed at Zuckerberg because he has ordered the removal of the tampons from the men's bathroom. So you've got all these people that storming in the streets, and then you've got all these other types of people that are just mad about tampons. I mean, what is with this place?
Well, bottom line is, again, less than 5% of the country is trying to keep the other 95% at bay, and 95% are fed up.
So Safe Seattle does a breakdown of what these people make at Meta. You ready? $379,000 a year.
Yeah.
The cost of a tampon, 20 cents. So before we switch to politics, let's talk about planes.
But that was politics.
No, that's just national news. We haven't even hit politics yet. What do you got on the plane situation for us? Yeah.
I can then, we got planes dropping out of the sky, which is very unheard of.
Right. And it's not just, I'll just let Megan go ahead first.
So she just throws a little bit of stats here.
But here are some of the stats that were circulating last night. Every day, more than 45,000 flights and 2.9 million airline passengers traveling for work or fun or to visit friends and family and trust their lives to the FAA. More than 45,000 flights a day. And we have not had an aircraft crash like this since 2009. Think about that. And then, hold on, my pal Yashar Ali, independent journalist, last night tweeted out the following. He said, I know this doesn't always help, but please remember that the last time there was a commercial airline crash in the U.S. was in 2009. Since then, there have been over 150 million commercial flights in the U.S. alone. Not one crash until tonight. Commercial air travel is the safest mode of transportation. Now, that's absolutely true. More than 150 million flights. Totally safe, no crash. But
now we're talking in the course of a week, we've had
less than
a week. You've had that horrific crash in the Potomac and, Reagan International. And then you had the Philadelphia, that air ambulance that basically drove itself into the ground. I mean, it looked like a missile, and we both thought it was. Then you have, Fullerton, California, where another, civilian plane with, I think it had 40 passengers on it, crashed.
Did it?
Yeah.
Did any survivors on that one?
There's some survivors on that one. But, and just previous to all this starting off, there's like that military jet that just dropped out of the sky, like in a flat tailspin up in Alaska. So then.
And yesterday, didn't somebody catch on fire on the tarmac in Houston?
Yeah,
or
that's
something?
what you're saying. There's like an engine fire in Houston. So, but that's not a crash. So they're talking about there hasn't been a crash this significant since 2009 involving a commercial air flight. But yet now you have 3 in about 4 days and a military plane that dropped out of the sky.
And that's, everybody was all up in arms because they thought it wasn't the right time for Trump to bring politics into this or whatever. Well, is there really a great time?
No.
You guys even haven't even he needs his cabinet.
Right.
Like he needs his cabinet to sort all this crap out because it just isn't a coincidence, in my opinion. Screws aren't getting screwed in somewhere or something. Something's happening why these planes are dropping out of the sky.
Well,
and we have to find the reason for that. But the guy can't even move forward because you guys are holding it up.
You could even go conspiracy theory. I mean, there's already documented proof that they can fly a Black Hawk helicopter remotely. And that started in 2022.
Oh, at the latest.
Right.
I bet they've had that technology way before that.
And they've also, everything's so computerized, they can hack a car and drive a car. What's to say they can't hack a plane, right? I mean, so is there something more sinister here than just, screws falling out? who knows?
Who knows? But can you even investigate it?
Can you say these are 3 independent accidents in 4 days? I don't think so. Personally, no.
Well, no, you know how I feel about it. I don't believe in coincidences. I mean, you go from none
Right. Since
since
2009,
2009
15 years to this.
to
in a
one
week.
right after the other. I'll tell you what, I wouldn't be getting on a plane right now.
Right.
So, but I'm not real excited about planes anyways. So,
No,
I mean,
yeah.
it's sad. It's super sad. But what's also super sad is Congress holding up these, cabinet,
Right.
nominations or
Right.
whatever.
It's horrific in itself that
Yeah.
that many people have died in a short amount of time via planes and helicopters. But yeah, it's like it just all coincidence. It happened just after January 20th too, and that's when it started. So it's just like I said. I mean, we've had enough tinfoil hats on to have been able to take them off. I'm just hoping that there's nothing sinister about this.
Here.
Right. I just hopefully the politicians aren't trying to make a statement just to undermine Donald
I
Trump,
would
President
not.
Trump.
Nothing
Nothing.
surprises me anymore. Nothing.
Exactly.
So, okay, let's move into politics though. So, Congress just summoned mayors of prominent sanctuary cities to come answer for their crimes. And he starts calling out the Boston mayor, the Chicago mayor, the Denver mayor, and the New York City mayor. And it says shit is about to get real. So I can't wait for that to happen, because Seattle will definitely be on the table.
Oh gosh, yes.
Wouldn't you say?
Seattle, LA, or Portland.
Yeah.
I mean, just because they're not as big as cities doesn't mean they're just not as guilty as the whole destroying of the city.
But this is just how corrupt everybody is, right? So here you have the previous Oakland mayor who has been criminally indicted. Federal grand jury following an FBI corruption investigation.
I'm not going down like that. We're not going down like that. The people who voted for me deserve to have their voices heard and communities prioritized. I'm seeking the truth right now, just as much as you all are. But I will not be bullied, and I will not be disparaged, and I will not be threatened out of this office. There are a lot of radical right-wing forces who know they will never win an election in Oakland Fair and Square.
What they did to our
They know their extreme views are at odds with our Oakland values, but they have built the rules to protect and preserve their power and maintain dominance over the rest of us.
So it's starting.
Right.
It's starting.
Well, I mean, it's like, most people say it's like, well, they're going to eat their own. They're turning on themselves because they're just so lost and they can't believe they're in this position. So.
Right. So you've got, Trump is threatening to come down on all these governors and mayors. So down, of course, you've got in Phoenix, or not in Phoenix, but in Arizona, you've got the governor, Katie Hobbs, who I'm going to go out on a limb and say she was really not elected to this position. That's my own opinion. She just was gifted it.
Right. Considering Arizona's political
she was
stance.
installed.
Right.
So it says breaking Arizona Governor Katie Hobbs says that she will not allow Tom Homan to conduct mass deportations in Arizona. That's not going to happen on my choice or on my watch.
Right.
And this guy goes, and what is your advice for Governor Hobbs? And somebody says, this will be so fun watching the Blue Hair Brigade get crushed and deportations resume.
Oh, yeah.
Girl, I'm sorry, but they're coming.
Yeah.
Whether you like it or not, they're coming.
It's just funny that they think that they can just follow some federal laws, disobey other federal laws, disregard most federal law, and they're a state. Okay, well, if you want to play games, it's like everything. It's like, what is Trump doing right now with Mexico and Canada? You want to F around? Look, I'll just cut your funds. I'll take your money.
Yeah.
Guess what, Arizona? Your governor keeps messing around. You're going to find a lot less federal dollars coming your way for your sanctuary cities and states.
Yeah, let's talk about Trump for a second. So Trump is on a roll, and that is just what my post was on my own page this morning was just like, this is what I voted for. Let's get this done. This has been going on for too long. And I'm just going to take a pause here. Trump wants to get rid of income tax and just have
External tax.
an external tax, right?
Right.
But all these leftist loons are like so over Trump. I think that they should have to, if that goes through, that they should still have to pay income tax.
Right.
Since they want all
They
their
want it so bad.
they want it so bad. You want your income tax going right over to Zelensky? You should keep paying it.
Well, there's another one. It's like we're at $100 billion.
We're gonna get there.
Right.
We're
No,
gonna
but,
get there.
but yeah,
Hold
I
on.
mean, especially with Trump, he could like, I mean, I don't know what, cure cancer, walk on water, and they'll still say he's a satanic person. It's
Yeah,
just like-
they just I don't understand. It is really the most bizarre.
it comes down to like just blindly following a politician. I mean, these Democrats and the liberals that follow these people just are so up their ass. They don't know where they stop and, air begins, because even now, look at like these leftist, the Democrats and this whole Doge thing with the USAID or whatever you want to call it, their money's getting cut off and they're all up in arms. And it's all supposed to be foreign aid. So why do they care? It's not their money. It's not going to them, supposedly.
Yeah, well, that's why. It's
Right.
because it is.
It is. On the backside, it's coming back to them. That's
Yeah.
why they're pissed off. But, it's like you're funding out $50 million for condoms in Gaza. You're $700,000 for, some kind of LGBTQ comic book in Peru. It's like, well, what do they need $700,000 for that? It's like, that's taxpayer money. So, but yeah.
Right. So let's jump into some of the things that Trump is doing right now. Mexico just put 10,000 soldiers on the U.S. border this morning for a 1-month delay in tariffs.
Right.
Tariffs work.
Right. What have you seen the articles though that they're trying to say back in 2021, Mexico put 10,000, soldiers on the border, and this is like some kind of bullshit concession. It's like, well, considering it was 2021 to today, I'm pretty sure those soldiers are going to be enforcing a lot more than they did in the last 4 years. So it's like, they're trying to say this isn't a win. They put them out there 4 years ago. I was like, dude, shut up.
And this person says they've already captured a high-level cartel leader.
I saw that. Yep.
And then he goes on to talk about USAID, this circle back
Right.
and into the pockets of the politicians. And let's see, over on George, President Trump is now going scorched earth on the crooks opposing the tariffs. Anybody that is against tariffs is only against them because these people or entities are controlled by China or other foreign or domestic companies,
Right.
NGOs.
Right.
So
China being a big part of it.
China. Yeah. Canadian companies are looking to invest in the U.S. It's been clear from day one that because Canada exports to the U.S. so much, tariffs would simply result in companies investing in just south in the U.S. to avoid them. They
Right.
won't win this.
Right. There are tons of companies up in Canada that want to work with the U.S., but they have such a shitty and corrupt political system up there. They can't. So the politicians are going to basically run Canada into a third world country, and unfortunately their citizens are stuck.
Right. And I saw that the value of the Canadian dollar or whatever it's called,
Right.
whatever their money is called.
I think
don't
it's
know,
just Canadian dollar, but the peso in Mexico, both of them have been hit
have
an all-time low.
tanked, right?
Right.
Tariffs work. So also Trump is getting gender ideology out of the schools.
Right.
That's getting a lot of people ruffled up.
Oh yeah, he signed that executive order basically saying, yeah, it's got, for anybody that's under 18, which
Mhm.
really, I mean, think about this, right? 18 years old, you can join the army, but you can't drink. How is a 8-year-old going to decide whether or not they want this gender affirming care where they destroy their body at 8 years old? It's ludicrous.
They don't want their kids to trick or treat by themselves in the dark, but that makes sense.
Right. Right. You're going to tell your kids you can't get tattoos and smoke dope until you're at least 21. But, hey, you want to go have a mastectomy at 9 years old? Go for it. What?
It's the bullnose ring.
Right.
That's all I can come up with.
And blue hair.
And blue hair. So then Trump ordered a sweeping memorandum that effectively eliminates gender ideology from the federal government. So by 5 p.m. today, which was a couple days ago, the following changes must be made. terminate contracts, programs, and grants that include gender ideology. Any employee whose job involves gender ideology must be placed on leave, and removal of all websites and social media accounts that promote gender ideology. Terminate email systems with a pronoun prompt. Withdraw all orders and regulations that promote gender ideology. Cancel any tradings that promote it. Disband resource groups that promote it. All forms should be only give options for male and female. Replace the word gender with sex on all documents. And intimate spaces should be based on sex and not identity.
Gender identity.
Gender identity, yeah.
Yeah. Gender ideology is dead.
Yeah.
It should be.
Yeah.
Again, it goes back to I don't care who you sleep with or how you have to identify to get through the day. Don't force it upon me. Get there on your own merits and your basis.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, knock yourself out.
So then President Trump has moved on. So he's knocked that one out. So, I mean, he just right down the line.
Yeah.
So now we've got Caroline Leavitt, who I think is just an amazing press secretary. She doesn't even flinch at these people.
You see what's missing from up there? A big fat binder. She's speaking on her own smarts.
Yeah. Says Caroline Leavitt just revealed that President Trump has instructed Congress to include the elimination of tax on tips, Social Security, and overtime in the reconciliation bill. Let's listen to her for a second.
Number two, when it comes to no taxes on tips and Social Security, the president has made it very clear to our allies on Capitol Hill that is a critical piece of this reconciliation package. And he expects that his tax cuts from 2017, which put a lot more money back into the American people's pockets, those must be implemented. And no tax on tips. The president is intent on delivering on that promise, and he will get it done.
Overtime also is part of reconciliation.
Yes.
So again, if you are one of those people out there that is just TDS so bad, you know what? Let's tax your tips.
Right.
Let's just.
If you hate the man so much, then you shouldn't profit from his kindness and smarts.
No, I 100% agree.
You know what's so beautiful about President Trump is, when's the last time you actually saw a politician fulfill his campaign promises? Never.
Not in my lifetime.
Right. And every campaign slogan, promise, guarantee he has made, he's probably like 78% already enacted most of it.
Yeah. So before we go into our part about winning, let's talk about the corruption. And so we were talking a minute ago about Zelensky, right?
Right.
And how,
oh boy, it's not going down for the ship. That's for sure.
It says well, let's start with what Zelensky said a couple of days ago. Let's start there. So Zelensky claims that Ukraine only received $75 billion of over the $177 billion that was sent aid.
So basically $100 billion is missing.
Yeah. So where did it go?
Unaccounted for.
Right?
Well, I would ask the USAID.
Дивіться, я коли чую, і раніше чув, і сьогодні ми чуємо від Сполучених Штатів Америки, що Америка дала Україні сотні мільярдів, 177, якщо сказати більш точно. Така звучала точна цифра, яку підтримували або голосував Конгрес, тощо різні організації. Дивіться, я як президент.
So basically, he's just saying
I was hoping they had like an interpreter actually.
Yeah, like, where's my money, yo?
No, he's not saying where's my money, yo. He's like, hey, look, yo, I only got $75 billion.
Right. So, I only got 77.
Something's going on, and it isn't on me, all right?
Yeah. Some of y'all are laundering my monies.
He's saying, I got $75 billion. I can atone for that. You go find the other $100 billion and just leave me alone. Leave me out of this is what he's saying.
Yeah.
He's selling out the people who basically ripped him off.
So Trump comes back and says, President Trump just announced that he is demanding Ukraine to give its rare earth minerals to the United States as payment for all the aid. Quote, so we're looking to do a deal with Ukraine where they're going to secure what we've been giving them with their rare earth and other things.
Makes sense. Seems like
It sounds like a plan to me.
They have very valuable rare earth. We want what we put up to go in terms of a guarantee. We want a guarantee. We're handing them money hand over fist. We're giving them equipment. European is not keeping up with us. They should equalize. And look, we have an ocean in between. They don't. It's more important for them than it is for us. But they're way below us in terms of money, and they should be paying.
So
yeah,
I mean, why
at least equal?
Why
they should be paying much more.
Is that like butthurt people? I don't understand.
I mean, the last time I looked, it wasn't a gift. Seems like it should have been more of a loan. But
right.
And if you can't have the 177 billion, then hey, we'll take some rare earth minerals and use that to our satisfaction.
Yeah.
But he's transactional though. He's all about the business. I mean, this is going to go a long ways into also probably helping with, negotiating a peace deal between Russia and Ukraine. So we'll see.
Yeah. So Zelensky wants immunity from prosecution after billions of US dollars go missing.
Yeah, but he's seeking from the EU.
Yeah. I mean, he's not going to get it no matter what.
No,
I don't think.
No. Like I said, he's looking for, immunity. So if he gets it, he'll rat out everybody else that stole it. So it's like,
So this guy, this is just like winning. This is kind of just like wraps up my post this morning. This guy says it all. He says, honestly, Trump has done in 2 weeks what the Biden administration could not do in 4 years. California has water. Doge is saving $1 billion a day. 10,000 or 8,000 plus illegal migrants are arrested. DEI and woke is dead. Pronouns are banned. Ceasefire in Gaza. Israeli hostages have been released. And let that sink in.
Yeah. I mean,
right?
And that's destroying the deep state. It's grinding their money-making machine. I mean, you've heard all the, the military-industrial complex. They got the pharmaceutical industrial complex. They've got the foreign aid industrial. I mean, that's the latest one I heard, is a foreign aid industrial complex.
Yeah,
which is being shut down by Doge. I mean, go Doge. I mean, bravo.
Right.
You know, it's like if they're figuring out where to save us $1 billion a day, and just let that sink in. $1 billion a day that has been going on for most of our lifetime, not so much $1 billion, but wasted money. Our whole lifetime has just been wasted. This is the first time we've ever seen money coming back into our pockets.
Yeah.
And it's just winning. Donald Trump.
Yeah. I am not sad about it. No. And just think if all that money went back into like the hands of law enforcement, or
back into the hands of
civilians,
the
or
citizens,
the military, and the small business owners and fire department, and all those places.
Well, I mean, just the citizens alone. Imagine if you were getting an extra $30,000 a year. What would that do to your life? And it's just crazy. And, but we're so used to getting it in the backside that it doesn't feel any different. But now it's like they're shining the light on you, like, whoa, I don't have to take that.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I mean, what they're doing.
If that, money did get back into the police departments because they have been defunded so bad, just imagine the amount of training that they could get and the amount of officers that they could have on the street.
Well, I mean,
just listening to, Bob Scales and what he had to say yesterday on LinkedIn, it just is very eye-opening.
Right. And it's, again, I'm glad I'm not there, because I would probably have an ulcer, because I would be so sick to my stomach that they're paying me this godly amount of money and I couldn't do the job right.
Let me see if I can pull this Bob Scales thing up, because I think it's worth people hearing, because you kind of get a vibe for, what's really going on there. Right. Okay. So this is from Bob Scales, CEO of Police Strategies. Before the U.S. Department of Justice, DOJ, imposed a consent decree on the city of Seattle, the Seattle Police Department was able to attract the best and the brightest officers and the top-notch leadership. Unfortunately, for the last 13 years, Seattle police chiefs have been chosen by the DOJ for their for-profit monitors with tragic consequences. So let's connect some dots. In 2014, DOJ and the Monitor handpicked Kathleen O'Toole to be the Seattle police chief. O'Toole had been the DOJ consent decree monitor in East Haven, Connecticut. O'Toole picked Carmen Best to succeed her. Chief Best resigned after the disastrous response to the George Floyd protest and the abandonment of the East Precinct. Before leaving office, Best hand-deleted thousands of text messages related to her conduct as chief. Chief Best promoted Adrian Diaz, who then became chief after Best resigned. Chief Diaz was fired after numerous scandals surfaced. Suddenly, O'Toole re-enters the picture and, quote, volunteers to lead the next police chief search for Seattle. O'Toole is currently the DOJ consent decree monitor in Springfield, Massachusetts, making $400,000 a year. O'Toole picked Sean Barnes to be the next police chief. Barnes told the Seattle Times that O'Toole is his, quote, mentor, and that she, quote, urged him to apply. Barnes said that O'Toole was his champion during the selection process. Well, that's not shady or anything. The Seattle Times also reported that Barnes has consulted with the Department of Justice Civil Rights Division. So Barnes was also a paid consultant for the DOJ. So according to SPD resources, Barnes failed his polygraph exam, and while he was police chief in Madison, Barnes was accused of creating a hostile work environment and making comments related to sexual orientation during an exit interview. During his last days in Madison, Barnes decided to attack the independent police monitor. Before he was chosen as the Seattle police chief, Barnes applied to be police chief in San Jose and Chicago, but was rejected by both cities. When police chiefs are selected based on cronyism, the end result is inevitable. Seattle PD will continue to decline until the consent decree is lifted and the mayor is allowed to select a police chief based on merit. And that's the situation in Seattle right now. So you have some training videos for us.
The guy fled, and the helicopter got involved. They don't know why he fled, but clearly they tried several maneuvers to stop him, including spike strips because tires are blown.
Okay.
And this is towards the end, right when they get him finally to stop. So here we go.
Going underneath 1518 right now. I'm on 10. Got another unit on the access road. Okay, 10-4. He's still slow rolling it. Coming up to Fruitenberg Road. Still on the access. Heads up, guys. He looks like he's getting out. He's under the floorboard, guys. Under the floorboard. Be careful. Be careful. Under the floorboard, guys. Watch it. Taking up a defensive position, guys. Shots fired. Shots fired. Troop down. Troop down. Let's get EMS en route. Troops down. Got a handgun. Troops down.
All right, we'll just kind of leave it at that. What do you think?
Well, the helicopter pilot did an amazing job.
Right.
Like giving, the deets on, he's reaching on the floorboard. He's reaching on the floorboard. Take cover, take cover, take cover. And the cop does the opposite.
Right. And when you hear him saying reaching on the floorboard, what are your thoughts? I mean, what's going through your mind?
Automatically, I'm prepared for a weapon of some sort.
Right. So maybe like he's definitely digging for a gun.
Yeah. If he was tossing dope, it would have gone out the window.
Long before they
that. So that's not what it is. But the door is open. The helicopter can see in the door.
Right.
He's reaching like literally under the floorboard.
Yeah, he's reaching and ready to bail.
Okay, so then the cop car, wasn't there one behind him and one in front of him?
Right, there's two of them. So
okay, so I don't know what kind of tactic that is, but you automatically create a crossfire situation.
Yeah.
Then the guy in the front, he should have gotten out and gone behind taken cover behind his patrol car, in my opinion. But that is not what happened.
What do they teach us when it comes to
contact and cover? Is that what you mean?
Time, distance, and shielding?
Yeah. contact, cover, time, distance, shielding. So, but that's not what he does.
No.
So he comes in front of his patrol car and the suspect shoots him and the cop returns fire, or vice versa. I'm not sure.
Right. The suspect shoots our deputy, and then I think the car behind him ended up doing the shooting.
The officer from behind.
Right. Because I mean, if you want, we'll take another look at it here. Just so you can see, he's clearly, his car's back, way back behind him.
See, even the suspect is taking cover.
Right.
The suspect is taking cover, right?
So
or at least concealment at a minimum.
Even right there, he's like, you can see, if you look at the suspect, he's watching the cop.
Yeah, and he's in the door jam. He knows what he's doing.
Right. So then you play it out, and then boom, he shoots. That officer goes down as the suspect retreats.
Troop down.
So then he takes fire from the guy behind him.
Oh, yeah.
And just to let it play out one more time. But yeah, it happens quick. Why the one officer left cover is like beyond me, right? That's not a tactic or a time.
No.
Shots fired. Troop down.
So thankfully, the trooper, he survived the injuries. He was actually medevaced out by that same DPS helicopter. The suspect ended up passing away. He succumbed to his injuries. But yeah, just crazy. I mean, it's just crazy.
What are you doing?
Well, it's like you said. I mean, they don't teach you to do a felony stop that way because, like you said, it's an automatic crossfire situation, which then becomes dangerous. And then, now you're in front of the vehicle. What if he decides to drive off? He's going to, ram you, hit you, blah, blah, blah. And you don't know where your backing officer is for contact and cover. And yeah.
Yeah. I mean, what did you say the initial crime was? Did we know? Not that it matters. It doesn't change anything for me, but.
No, basically he was pulled over initially and he fled from a traffic stop.
That's it?
That's it. But you can see where he had the front end damage. He had that.
He obviously something.
Well, this is Texas too, right? He's fleeing for a reason, but you could see where the tire was blown out on the driver's side front. So they clearly either pitted him, hit him, spike stripped him, but they definitely wanted to catch up with him.
Yeah, that is not how you do it.
So then the second one is just a good reminder of a symbiotic relationship between the police and the community. So this officer, as you'll see, he is engaged in trying to take a suspect into custody on the ground. And we have a good Samaritan who is doing everything right. He, I'll let it play out and then we'll just talk about it. But,
okay.
Sometimes we need help, especially when you're by yourself, because we're not there to hurt people, but yet we're still having a job to do. And so it can make it tricky. There we go.
When a jiu-jitsu student just happens to be driving by and decides to assist the officer, he gets out of his car, he rushes in, he straddles the suspect's legs to limit his ability to build the house. And I just want you to watch this. Watch how effectively this civilian is able to assist the officer because of his jiu-jitsu training. The hand control, the underhooks, everything, the body control, the knee on belly you're going to see. And most impressively, how this civilian is able to communicate with the suspect and the officer, even right here, while the suspect is going for the officer's gun. Listen to what he says. He's talking to the suspect, telling the suspect to release the officer's gun. Calmly, deliberately, they're able to pry his hand off. And I'm going to let this play out right now so you can see the beauty of the intervention, the beauty of the assistance, and then we're going to talk more afterwards.
Look up. Help! Sorry. Take a piece of shit ass motherfucking shit. Stop fighting. Stop fighting, brother. Stop fighting. Give up. No, I ain't fucking dude you're looking for, man. They was happy, not me, motherfucker. Turn around, brother, please. Turn the fuck around.
Now listen carefully to the things the civilian is saying to the officer regarding body weight, underhooks, and control.
Stay heavy. Nope. Stay heavy. Oh. Leave it. Stay heavy. Nope. Oh. I got you. Let me get the hook. Oh. Yeah. Don't give up. Don't give up. Don't give up. Nope. No, it ain't.
You guys, I'm willing to bet that this jiu-jitsu student has never arrested a person in his life. Yet he was able to pry that arm out with absolute alavanca and effectiveness.
Dude, you looking for it, man.
You guys, this is my favorite part right here. The jiu-jitsu student is so calm, and the cognitive function of his prefrontal cortex is so well engaged that at this point, he realizes the suspect is in cuffs, so he tells the officer to get off the suspect. Give him a break. Let him go. He's not going anywhere. We can sit up and we can get off the guy. Watch this.
Hey, he's not going anywhere. You get up. We're going through, brothers. Just relax. Go ahead. Take your time, man. You good. You're good. Take your time.
You're good, sir. I got you.
You're taking over here. This one's almost there. You don't play, man. There's no worry. There's no nowhere.
So yeah, your thoughts?
Well, my first thought is who's standing by filming this whole thing, just watching all this go down for
The woman that got out of the car.
Oh, so okay.
Yeah, no, when it initially started, there was a car. Somebody got out of the car because this Brazilian jiu-jitsu guy was already engaged in helping the officer.
Oh, okay.
And this is again another one in Texas. So this is a San Antonio police officer, and people in Texas are a lot more.
Well, I will tell you that there has been not a lot of times, doesn't happen a lot, but there are times when civilians will actually step in and help the police.
Right.
It's very few and far between.
Right.
But it is very much appreciated when it does happen.
Yeah. And I mean, it's
because that could have gone really, really bad for that officer, especially that the guy clearly outpowered the officer, in my opinion, if he was grabbing onto his gun and stuff.
No, he didn't grab on the gun until they were both trying to get him into cuffs. I mean, the officer was a lot bigger. He wouldn't have been able to get him into cuffs by himself because that guy just wasn't going to allow it.
Yeah, he was not going to allow that to happen.
But it could have got a lot uglier because without the assistance of this citizen, the officer might have had to resort to strikes, knees, elbows, and then that's when it starts getting ugly. Because
I'm not sure that officer would have done that. I'm not sure if he was just code blacking at the time or what. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't.
He was grateful for the assist. I mean, you could hear the communication from between the two trying to work together. But he was just doing a lot of body weight on him. But and it's nice to see that the community will get engaged and. This guy was in a fight for his life when he went for his gun, and without that citizen there, it could have got a lot worse.
Yeah. Yep. Agreed. Okay. Pause. Okay. We're back. Okay. So I only have like 2 conspiracies, and I'm not even really sure they're conspiracies.
Well,
so
let's see.
Okay, so remember the Obama movie?
Yep.
With all the weird shit that was happening? Right?
What was the name of that? I can't remember.
Okay, so if you haven't seen it, I don't promote anything Obama, but
it's scary.
It's really frightening how on point it is. Well, anyways.
It's called Leave the World Behind.
Leave the World Behind. Right. Hold on.
Airplanes falling out of the sky.
Airplanes are falling out of the sky. And here, this is interesting because this is some people found these coordinates on Google Maps in LA, and it comes back like this weird abandoned kind of lot thing.
I think it's a lumberyard.
But not a lot's happening there, or shipping container place, or I don't know.
Right.
But then they see, when you zoom in on it, you've got all these things written in help. So what does that make you think of?
Right.
Like containers and trains.
But if you back it up, there's one that says traffico, like human trafficking, Oh, it could. That's how I pointed it out.
Right there.
Yep.
Traffico. Yeah. So that's the first thing I think of.
My logic mind says, well, how do they take all these either telephone poles or pieces of lumber wood and spell out help unless they had some kind of machinery to do it? But, yeah, it's hard to say.
I mean, couldn't you just drag something in the sand or?
Well, if you're talking about those big old timber, pieces of wood, I don't know.
No. Yeah, I don't know.
Yes, and I don't know.
But just knowing what a huge problem sex trafficking is and human trafficking is, this does not, this would not shock me.
No.
At all.
So,
yeah.
But when you're talking about like the trafficking down at the border where they're separating women from their children and, the kids are, the infants are disappearing and stuff and the women, but it happens everywhere.
Yeah. Okay. So wrapping up our podcast, we got to end on something light, but I'm going to keep my hat on because I like it. Okay. So here's this New Yorker. Did you see this? He has just had it. I mean, he is.
Oh yeah. The one
done.
Yeah.
Fucking horrible. You can put it any way you want, big guy. These people are jokers. They don't know what's going on. They're ruining this city. Left-wing jerk-offs. Indict Jim Jordan. Are you serious? Yeah, you're great.
Indict Chuck Schumer.
Exactly. What kind of Jew was Chuck Schumer? He gets abused from the squad and says nothing. What a joke he is.
Right.
You people are fucking hypocrites. You know what? I'm going to take a shit later and wipe my ass and think of you people. Because you're ruining this fucking city. Yeah, you're laughing, jerk off.
Shit a better president.
You're fucking laughing, you fucking clown. You woke idiot. You're a woke idiot. You're a woke idiot. You're all woke idiots. I got a job. I got money. You're laughing, jerk off. You're standing in front of a building. You a hypocrite. You're a fucking jerk off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9 jerk off.
So what he says about the Jews, though, it's kind of like, your first inkling is to perk up because he says the word Jew. But what he was saying was that Schumer is getting from the squad in Congress, who is, AOC and all those people just ripped to shreds. And he just doesn't even stand up for himself. So that's what he's getting at with the Jewish thing. But
job and career that it has to be true because you can't even make it up. It's hard for me to even get this out. There are times in this job and career that it has to be true because you can't even make it up. And here's what she said. I swear she said this. It's hard for me to even get this out. She dialed 911 to have a deputy come there to help them move their belongings and take them to the airport so that they could fly back to New York. But they don't like it in Florida anymore. Did you hear that? Did you hear that she dialed 911 from inside the house that they've broken into so we could help them pack up and give them a ride to the airport so they could return to New York? You have to be from New York to do something like that.
So that'll do it, you guys. Have a good one. We will talk to you later.
Bye now.
Thanks so much for tuning in to this episode of the Fuzz Buzz Podcast. If you're enjoying what you've heard today, please feel free to rate, subscribe, or leave a review wherever you listen to your podcasts. That helps others find the show, and we greatly appreciate it. Once again, thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you in the next episode of the Fuzz Buzz. Y'all be good out there.